Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the November 25th Board of Supervisors meeting. Let's start with our moment of silence. We have a lot to think about and to be thankful for this week. So please join me. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, our special actions tonight is we pulled item C from the consent agenda, and our land development has also been pulled from this agenda. So we will have a much shorter meeting. Aren't we all thankful for that on this Thanksgiving? Okay. That brings us to our first round of public comment. Items not on the agenda.
Special actions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Special actions. Yeah, I'm going past myself. We're going to, I want a consensus from everybody to consider authorizing the Township Engineer to review existing traffic conditions on Fountain Farm Lane. So we've heard everybody, we've heard them speak. We think it is worthy of doing something in order to, try to help in any way we can. So, I would want to know if there is a motion to authorize the Township Engineer to review existing traffic conditions on Fountain Farm Lane.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion from any of us?
Yeah,
Anybody want to make a comment?
Leanna said she was going to be here tonight. What happened?
There was no need for her to be. It was a last-minute thing.
She emailed me, said she would be here because I had a question for her regarding some other issue. Who told her not to be here? Who told her not to be here? Well, you told her not to be here?
We said there was nothing for her here.
There was something for her, which I emailed her, and she said, I'll be there tonight. You want me to read the email she sent me?
No, I don't. I saw it. I
did?
can't answer that. She's not here.
But you said somebody told her not to be
There was a
here.
decision made for her not to be here
Who made that
tonight.
decision? I'm asking.
I guess it was the administration and myself.
Micah, did you make that decision?
In consultation with the chair.
Consultation with the chair. Very good, okay.
But may I remind you, you can always send her any questions you have. She will be here for the next meeting, so you can answer that. The things that she was going to speak about, other than what you wanted to talk to her about, were really taken off the agenda.
Well, there
So-
was, Woods of Saxony had a complaint, and I wanted to get an answer from her regarding the promises she made to that.
And did she not?
I'm one of the liaisons with homeowners association, so.
And I
let's
saw
find
her
out,
response to you. I saw her response to you. Did you not see
She
that
didn't
response?
answer all the questions I had regarding with the sloping of the land, for example. This is another matter. She's not here. She should have been here. She said she was going to be here, and I guess pulled the rug out.
Well, please send her those questions. She'll answer them again to your satisfaction.
I will do that.
And she will be here in the next meeting for you to ask her
Fine, I'll
whatever
do
you
that.
want to ask her.
I'll ask her.
But we had a motion on the floor. I think the last time that we met, at our last meeting, I presented the request to have the engineer look at Fountain Farm Road. So I'm
Correct.
very much in favor of that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. We have discussion from the board. Is there any other discussion besides on Fountain Farm Lane itself? Any from the public? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of authorizing the engineer to review the existing traffic conditions, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So
Motion passes.
3 approved and 2 absent. Is that how you do that?
Yep.
Okay. Now, public comment. Items not on the agenda, please state your name and where you live.
Todd McGonigal, Newtown Township. So now that I don't know if this is on the agenda or not, but now that the sewer plant has finally been canceled, the question comes into play about the land, which would ultimately come back to the supervisors, I believe, because it's currently zoned for office space. I don't believe any developer right now is going to be interested in building an office complex. There's already so many vacant office spaces available in Newtown right now as we speak. I've heard rumors of a possible performing arts center or something along those lines. Is there any way that we could move this process along and have some cooperation with the original developer to move this process so we can get the land sold back to the sewer authority and we can recoup some of our ratepayers' money by chance?
What I can say is we have just started the process of offering that land back. So we have, nobody has given us any sketch plans of any type of development. So there is no answer to that question at this point. We haven't even heard back since it just happened, I think within the last 2 days, that they got the communication from the sewer authority.
Okay. I would just, I know it's a short window. It's only a 90-day window we have to make this happen. So I would hope that if possible, if you guys could work closely with the developer. As I know we don't want apartment complexes there and we don't want a sewer plant there, but if we could have something that would, better our community, if possible, to work with the developer and speed this process along. Thank you.
If you want to know my opinion, I don't want any kind of development there. I think the land should remain undeveloped, just like at Silver Lake Park, which was donated to the township by the Bucks County for $1 with the provision that it never be developed. And that's what I would like to see over there.
Anybody else for public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on. Reports of committees, boards, and commissions. Peggy Driscoll is here for the Planning Commission.
Good evening.
The Planning Commission met last week. We had 5 zoning hearing board applications, first being First Trust Bank at 11 Durham Road. The applicant is seeking variances to erect a halo-lit monument sign in the legal right-of-way along Durham Road. The proposed sign would require relief for a second sign and for height and size, as the new sign would be 22.9 square feet, where 20 square feet is the max, and 6.8 feet high, where 5 feet is the max. The members were in agreement that there is no hardship, as the bank does have a lighted sign on Durham Road side of the building. We do not support this application, but the members agreed to recommend that the board take no position on this application at the zoning hearing board. And it also is in the PennDOT legal right-of-way, so. Next, we had Melange on Sycamore, 255 North Sycamore Street. The applicant is seeking variances to permit 9 additional window signs, and for the additional signs to be 5.6 square feet, where 2 square feet is the max. This tenant is permitted 2 signs by previous variance. The commission discussed the applicant's need for HARB approval in addition to zoning variances. The commission discussed the signs or logo etchings on the windows. The original windows were removed and replaced with large plate glass windows. The etchings were already installed. The commission members discussed at length their concerns for allowing 9 additional signs and voted to recommend that the supervisor send the solicitor to oppose the application at the zoning hearing board. The members who disagreed thought that the zoning hearing board would address the size and number of signs fairly, and that the suggested remedies for the removal of the original double-hung windows would be addressed at HARB. Next, we had 826 to 828 Newtown Yardley Road LLC. The applicant is seeking variances for 2 double-sided freestanding identification signs to replace existing non-conforming signs. Relief is also sought for the size of 40 square feet, where 32 square feet is the max. This location has 3 entrances on Newtown Yardley Road, and the new signs serve as tenant directory signs. The commission recommended that the board take no position on this application. Next, we had Community Veterinarian Partners at 228 North Sycamore Street. The applicant is seeking variances in connection with the conversion of an existing 2-story residential dwelling into an E20 veterinarian clinic use, where an existing veterinary office is currently located. The applicant is also proposing an additional ADA accessible parking space for a total of 12 off-street parking spaces. The proposal calls for converting the dwelling's first floor into a reception area and the second floor for storage. The commission recommends that the board take no position on this application. And lastly, we had Vecchia Osteria at 20A Richborough Road. The applicant is seeking variances for parking to provide 59 spaces where 82 spaces would be required. The applicant is seeking to expand the restaurant's use into the adjacent space, which they have utilized as a reception area since 2015, and now wish to incorporate the 500 square foot space into restaurant use with an additional 24 seats. The applicant has received a prior variance for 40 spaces where 70 would have been required when patio dining was added. The applicant noted that the shopping center has added 13 new parking spaces in 2024. The commission recommended that the Board of Supervisors take no position on this application. And that was all we had.
Are there any questions for Peggy Driscoll tonight?
Yes, thank you, Peggy. I attended that meeting. It was quite contentious for a couple of reasons. Number one was First Trust Bank and Melange. I'm just curious as to why the board is against this, the First Trust Bank sign on Durham Road. The board was against it, but recommend we take no action. What does that mean? Does that mean the commission believes the zoning hearing board would be diligent and reject the request for zoning variance? Any reason why they might think that way?
Where they want to put the sign is in the PennDOT right-of-way, and signage in the right-of-way is not permitted in our ordinance.
Yeah, I know that, and you discussed that at your meeting a lot, and people were very adamant against it, but yet they recommend that we take no action.
Well, taking no action doesn't mean we support or oppose it. It means that we didn't feel that the attorney, the solicitor need to be present. But I believe they get a little bit more of a explanation as to why than what we have on this.
Well, the attorney doesn't have to be there. We can send a letter.
Absolutely.
So that'll come up for a vote in the agenda, right? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Peggy? Melange, just to be straight, they have to come back to HARB,
Correct.
right? So really what we're doing tonight is not making any decisions, just we're making a decision to send our solicitor to the zoning hearing board.
Correct.
Right? Just to make that clear. I know a lot of us have feelings about that place, but now that's not what we're voting on.
They need to come back to HARB again. We're trying to work with them. They came into planning. They need to go to zoning. They need to come back to HARB. So this is going to be a little bit of a process before anything changes.
Will they be coming back to you once they're through?
Once they
HARB the
come back to
second time?
HARB, then they'll have to come back to planning again, yeah.
And just to be clear, we'll take any votes that need to be taken as part of the solicitor's report.
Right. I will say that they were very, well, not respectful. I would use those words. So I think they want what they want, and so we'll just have them go through the process and do the best we can. I think everywhere that this is going to go, to HARB, to zoning, to us, back to planning, is going to take the appropriate steps to make sure that this goes in the right direction.
We are trying to work with them. We would like to see the business open. They had made a lot of changes before coming in for permits to make the changes that they made.
Unfortunately,
Well,
yeah. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Any questions? Thank you.
I had a question, if you know this. I don't know if anybody knows this, but Rocco's recently closed. Is the Melange and Rocco owned by the same person?
yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have removed the plan for land development at 473 Lower Dolington. That is not on the agenda anymore. So we move to the consent agenda, which, huh?
Members' comments.
Oh, members' comments about
Yes,
the Lower Dolington Road?
no, about board member reports.
I am really skipping around tonight, and I apologize. It's been a crazy day. Thank you.
That's why
Thank
we're there to help you.
Yes. Okay, board member comments, and I will make a comment. I wish everyone a very good Thanksgiving, a very thankful Thanksgiving, especially to our staff who go above and beyond to be of service, including police, firefighters, and our staff here at the Township Building. So I'd like to thank them for that, and hope everybody has a peaceful Thanksgiving. And to you, Mr. Vice Chair.
And I will also wish happy Thanksgiving to all of them and a happy 4-day weekend. And we'll come back in December.
We will. Mr. Mack?
Yes. This past weekend, I was able to attend the Holiday Craft Fair right here in this room. It was really nice. It was organized by the Parks and Rec Department, I believe. And I don't know how many years they've been doing this, but it looked well attended. My 2 grandchildren were with me, and the most interesting exhibit to me was a woodworking design booth, which had a sign that I bought for $20. I forgot to bring it, but I'll tell you what it says. It says, "Let's keep the stupidity to a minimum today." I thought that would have been appropriate, but I forgot to bring it. Sorry. The other thing, I did attend the Newtown Sewer Authority meeting on the 18th. And yes, they did vote to terminate, not just stop, the proposed sewer treatment plan. And number 2, it was acknowledged that the authority mishandled its interaction with the public, and it was even suggested that the plan should have been put forward as a referendum for residents to vote on. And also, the manager announced that from now on, these meetings of the Newtown Sewer Authority will be on YouTube within 48 hours of the meeting. And I did see that they did that. There's a link on their site. And as I mentioned, I attended the Planning Commission meeting on the 18th as well. That's it.
If I may have a moment, I enjoyed the craft fair as well, and I think our chairwoman was there as well. So it was
But did you buy anything?
Yes.
Yes, apple pie.
Apple pie?
I bought, were you outside? Did you buy from the vendor that was outside
No,
with those signs?
I didn't.
Okay, I did. And it was it was a flag with an eagle sign on it, made in wood. And, well, needless to say, that was my thing, so, yes. Any other comments? Okay. There are no public hearings, so we can move on to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Of course, item C is no longer on this consent agenda, so it's minutes, bills, turnout gear, and I think that's it. So do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that. Any discussion from the board? Any?
Well, I'm glad to see that the so-called drug education vehicle has been removed. And I heard somebody say it will come back to haunt us in January.
That it?
End of comment.
Okay. Any other comments? All right, so we have a motion, we have a second. We have discussion from the board. Do we have discussion from the public? Okay, hearing none, I'll call the question. All those that approve of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
So motion passes 3 with 2 absent. Sorry. Okay, which brings us to reports of officials. There is no engineer's report, so that brings up our solicitor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First item on our agenda this evening is consider enactment of an ordinance adopting the 2021 International Fire Code as the Township's fire code. This was authorized to be advertised at your last meeting. It has been advertised for your consideration this evening. It would be appropriate for a motion to enact the ordinance adopting the 2021 International Fire Code as the Township's fire code.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second that. Any discussion from the board?
Just to be clear, this updates the ordinance that we already have regarding the fire code, correct?
Correct.
So it includes a new version of the, what's it called again? 2021 code,
International Fire Code?
International Fire Code?
Yes, copies of which will be available for inspection by the public at the township building.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's required when you adopt an outside code.
Any other discussion from the board? Any from the public? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of adopting the ordinance for the fire code, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any, obviously no opposed. Motion passes 3 to 0, 2 absent.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next on our agenda is the zoning hearing board applications. You've heard them reviewed by the Planning Commission. Question is, does the board wish to take a position on any of them, keeping in mind that the board is certainly able to authorize me to send a letter to the zoning hearing board expressing its opinion on a case, asking for certain conditions to be added to any decision granting relief, etc. What's the board's pleasure on these?
Before we, well, I'll ask for a motion first, and then a second, and then we'll discuss it. So do we have a motion?
Well, there's several
Okay.
items.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
it.
Yes.
There's 5
I'm sorry.
different
You're right.
ones.
So does anybody have any discussion about any of these things on the zoning hearing board applications?
Yes, I agree with
Planning
Peggy that we'll send you,
That would be me.
a solicitor, to the zoning hearing board regarding Melange. I think they need to be slapped around a little bit, and there's no better way to do that than through a lawyer. So my opinion on that. Regarding the First Trust Bank, I think it's worthy of a letter. I mean, I know that we had an action against the shopping center, which put up a billboard on that right-of-way on Durham Road up near Iron Hill, and they had to remove that sign, so we need to be consistent. And I don't know if the zoning hearing board, for example, is aware of the past history where we went up against some owners of the shopping center and told them to remove that sign. So I think to be consistent, we need to defend our zoning and to at least send a letter to that effect to the zoning hearing board. That's my comments.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I would go along with it. I know that there's been a lot of back and forth about Melange, a lot of confusion. So I think that having our solicitor go there would help everyone sort that out a little bit more. As far as the First Trust Bank, yeah, something needs to be done. A letter would probably suffice. I don't know, since Dave's already there, could he cover it in person without an additional expense or a minimal additional expense?
We don't know if Dave's going to be there yet, but
Okay.
Speaking to Melange, the relief is for their, we know they've been bad boys. We know they have not behaved. We know that they have not followed procedure, and we know that they are somewhat disrespectful. That said, we're talking about frosted glass
That's correct.
sign, so frosted glass windows with the sycamore trees in them
Right.
that happen under the technical reading of our zoning office ordinance to be signs, but they are not signs in the traditional manner. They are frosted windows. And I think that if the board finds those objectionable, I understand taking an adverse position. But this is something that is more of a procedural morass than an objectionable zoning relief morass. They still have to go to HARB. They illegally remove double-hung windows. They have to go to HARB to allow their single-pane windows to remain. So we know they have to go to HARB. And I think it would help if we let the zoning hearing board know that, via letter, that any relief that they might grant, and they may not grant relief, but any relief that they might grant should be conditioned on them, on the applicant being required to get all additional approvals, including but not limited to HARB approval. Just my recommendation. On First Trust, the sign's in the PennDOT right-of-way, but they need a permit from PennDOT to do that. So they need not only relief from our zoning ordinance to do that, but they can't do that. If they get zoning hearing board approval and they apply to PennDOT to put the sign within their right-of-way and PennDOT says no, they're not putting that sign up. So it's sort of a built-in requirement of their application that they get PennDOT approval. Obviously, I will be guided by the board's wishes.
PennDOT could do practically anything. They're like God. Nobody tells them what to do.
They're right away.
Well, they could say, well, we don't give a, you know what? You put a sign up, we don't care.
Could be.
You think they don't have better things to do than fool around with that? This is our town. We need to express what our opinion is.
Understood.
And our opinion is, we don't want those signs on Durham Road. They're like billboards.
In the right-of-way.
In the right-of-way, yes.
Wherever, is my opinion.
Okay, so I think you have direction about the first two things. Is there anything else on this zoning hearing board applications that anybody would like to take a position on or not? I think,
I'm okay with the other three,
yes,
just
Yes.
consensus-wise.
I think,
As for
I think they're all
as
good.
for these things in the windows, I think the majority of the planning commission considered them signs.
John, you're right. They're technically signs, because the definition of sign in our zoning ordinance is extraordinarily broad. It's any mark, line, drawing, letter, figure, picture, anything can be a sign. These are glass windows with etched trees, sycamore trees in them, frosted. This is not a traditional First Trust Bank sign that they're putting in every window saying Melange at Sycamore, Melange at Sycamore, Melange at Sycamore.
Okay,
They're more decorative
But,
than anything
but
else.
what you just confirm
Yes.
that they are signs.
Yes, technically under our zoning ordinance. they are
Technically
signs.
or not technically, they're in violation if they put more than 2 signs.
They need
They-
relief, which is what they're asking.
And we were advised to oppose this, and I would like you to oppose that.
I agree.
Regardless of your personal opinion,
It's okay, John.
I don't think
If you
he's
tell me to
giving
go,
one.
I'm going. I'm just giving you my opinion as you consider the question. But a motion would be required to authorize me to attend and oppose the melange. And
okay, I make that motion that our solicitor attend and oppose the melange variances.
So do we have to do this separately, each one?
yes, each one should be
If,
separate.
if we're going to take action,
Yes, if you're going to take action, they should be separate.
Okay,
Well, I made a motion on the first one.
I'll second that. Any other discussion from the board?
I agree with you too.
Okay, so call the
If the
question, 3-0, 3 approve
Aye.
of sending.
We have to say aye?
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes
Did you
3
say aye?
with 2. I believe so, but I'm losing track with all the discussion. I must admit, it's been a heck of a day. Okay, so does that give you the authority you need for Melange?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so as for First Trust Bank, do I have a motion to send our solicitor or send a letter to oppose the signs in the right-of-way, the PennDOT signs? Do we have a motion for that?
Well,
It might be more
if he's going to be at the
explicit,
meeting,
more specific to say, to acknowledge that they need to get a permit from PennDOT.
Okay, yeah,
And we just, the letter would reinforce that, or,
Well,
Again, if you're
I will
present.
be there.
yeah, your presence
I
at
can
the meeting.
certainly,
Okay.
for that
Okay.
particular hearing, I could say that, enter my appearance for the township and say that our concern is if you grant relief, they must obtain the appropriate permit from PennDOT in order to erect this sign.
Good.
And that's all I'll say about that.
I was going to circle back to that, you're there already, so.
Right.
and let me just be clear, the request for variance has this specific location. Now, I don't know about the geography there, but can they move it closer to their building off the right-of-way? Will they have to come back again to ask for some kind of variance?
I don't know the answer to that.
Because they already have a sign
I think
on
they
the
need-
top of the building, and I'm sure they have a sign on the other side. This would be sign number 3, wouldn't it?
Okay, let me see.
So they,
First Trust.
yeah,
To allow a sign to be erected within the PennDOT right-of-way on Durham Road, for which a PennDOT permit would be required. To allow a second sign on the Durham Road frontage where only one sign is permitted per road frontage. And 3, to allow the proposed sign to be 22.9 square feet in
Yeah.
area, or no more than 20 square feet is permitted. And to allow the sign to be 6.8 feet in height,
Okay,
or no
so
more than 5.
they
need
have
3
a
other
sign-
elements of relief,
Yes.
other than putting the sign
So it
in
doesn't,
the
they
right-of-way.
can't, our position is too many signs, no matter where they're placed. They get big sign up on the top of the building, is that correct?
I'd just like to make a comment that signage in the right-of-way is not permitted in the township ordinance. It's not a permitted use in our
I
township.
know that, but if that
Correct.
sign were moved out of the right of way it would still not be permitted because they have more than 2 signs.
They could come back and try.
Well, that's what I'm asking. If they said, well, we'll move it, would you approve it? They can't do that at this zoning hearing board meeting, come back and modify their request, right?
No, they would have to come to planning again, I believe.
They have to go through the whole process again if they decide to move the sign off the right-of-way.
Into
and-
another location on their,
And that, they would still have 3 signs, is that correct?
correct.
More than what our zoning ordinance allows.
Correct.
Regardless of where that sign is. 3 signs, not allowed. Thank you.
Is this their third sign or second sign? I
They-
know on the Durham Road frontage, this is the second sign on the Durham Road
They don't
frontage.
have one on the other side of the building? where people enter?
John, I don't know. I'm raising the
They're connected to
question.
another building.
I'm raising the question. That this may be a second sign, not a third sign, but I could be wrong.
You could be wrong. I've known lawyers to be wrong, so. Just saying.
Okay.
Sorry, David.
All right.
So, what's the motion then?
The motion is to send our solicitor to take a position against the signs for Melange and the
No,
sign.
we're talking about the sign for.
Yes.
We're on First Bank. We already did Melange.
Right. So I'm just trying to encapsulate.
I don't want them to say, you have to if you decide to allow it, you have to tell them to get permission from the PennDOT. That's not what our argument is. Our argument is that it's a third sign, it's not permitted, and we oppose it. That's what I think our argument should be. If you don't think it's a third sign, I don't know. Somebody can't count.
Do they have a sign on each corner and each street, Durham Road, and then
I don't know.
Ice Cream
I just
Alley?
don't know.
You don't know that, Peggy, either, right?
They have a big sign on the top of their building along Durham Road, which is the back of the building. People don't
Right.
enter there. They have to go around and enter in the front door. If you don't think they have a sign over the front door, I don't know, if you know what's going on, but they gotta have a sign above the front door. So that means there'll be 3 signs, not permitted.
I believe, I'm not positive, but I believe there is a sign on the side of the building facing Ice Cream Alley.
I think so too. So there would be 2 building signs.
Correct.
And and they're asking,
Well, the 2 signs that are there are legal. You're
Yes.
allowed to have one on each road.
And this one
Right.
that they're asking for is illegal, no matter where they want
That's
to
why
put
they're
it.
asking for
Okay.
relief.
yeah,
Right. So, we
Well, our
have,
position is not that they have to get permission from PennDOT. That's not the issue.
not the issue before us.
and then
Okay.
then the size of the sign and the height of the sign is, we could let them,
Area, height, a number of signs, and the right-of-way issue. Those are 4
Yep.
variances that they require.
Right. So, again,
They didn't ask for a variance from the 3-sign limit, is that correct? I mean, if you're going to have 3 signs, you're going to have to ask for a variance of the limit on 2 signs. They're not asking for that? That's not coming before the zoning hearing board?
leave for erection,
John, I've already read it.
freestyle, yeah.
Well,
so the proposed sign.
It's just- We don't have any information besides what's sitting in front of us right now. So,
well, our solicitor has to be there to defend our zoning laws.
we agree.
What are we agreeing to?
Our solicitor being there to defend our zoning laws.
How?
By
What does he say? What
He's-
would he say in the letter, for example, if he wrote a letter? He just said he would advise the zoning hearing board that if they approve this variance, they got to tell them, but first you got to get permission from PennDOT. That's not what we
That was the original motion, that was the original discussion, and the original thought was to write a letter and make sure they got their PennDOT permit. That has evolved into something different now.
Yeah,
based
well,
on
you
your-
are trying to
Excuse
make,
me,
you
excuse
are
me.
trying to make it that
Excuse me,
way. It's not
excuse me,
that way.
Excuse me.
Please, can you let the solicitor talk for a minute? We heard
Based
you.
based on your additional observations of this case, John, I'm not saying you're wrong or incorrect or anything. I need to be guided by the board. But the reason I said that it would be me being there to have the permit, PennDOT permit condition, was because that was the original suggestion about what the extent of my work
Who
was
made
to
the
be.
motion?
Let me finish. Now it may, if all three members vote, may evolve into something different. So I'm waiting to hear from all three members of the board what my direction is at this hearing with regard to
Okay,
First
I
Trust.
move that we modify that motion to oppose the variances regarding the number of signs, that they should not be able to have 3 signs because that would violate our zoning ordinance. That is what I believe the motion should be. I don't remember who made the original motion, but I move that we change it to what I just said.
Any discussion? Dennis, what do you,
Yes.
do you have a position on that?
I just keep going over these 1, 2, 3, 4. One's to allow a sign in the PennDOT right of way. 2 is to allow a second sign on the Durham Road frontage. I'm guessing that's the one we don't want. And the third variance is to allow a proposed sign to be larger than permitted square footage. And then the fourth variance they're asking for is the height of the sign. Now, if we don't allow the sign, the other two become kind of moot.
That's right. They're not asking for the variances. They're going to get okayed by the zoning hearing board, and they're going to have 3 signs. Or every other business is limited to 2 signs. They're going to have a shit fit.
I suggest that we ask our solicitor in person to make sure our zoning laws are upheld by all those things that are listed here that are not in our zoning laws to be opposed.
Let me simplify that, Madam Chair. If the board's
Please
of
do.
a mind, it would be a motion to authorize the solicitor to attend and oppose the application of First Trust Bank.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's the best way to put it.
If we're all
I
in
would-
agreement to
Thank you
that.
for that simple statement of truth.
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
There's already a motion on the floor.
Yeah,
or
there
we just-
already is. It's by the two of you.
If I made the motion, I amend it to be what the solicitor just said.
Thank you.
And you amended it first, and you were the first to vote.
Whatever. We got a motion?
I think the record will reflect
Yes,
what
I'm
happened.
just trying to say who did first, who did second.
Whatever.
What's that?
We're going to say John and Dennis.
Okay,
That's correct.
fine with me.
That's correct.
Blame it on me. Go ahead.
Okay, so, all those in favor of doing what we just said, sending our solicitor to oppose the relief for the erection of the freestanding sign and all the other things that we just discussed as being against our zoning laws, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Of course, it's only 3 of us, so 3 with 2 absent.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That concludes our report.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Chair. General fund balance this evening is $6,214,217. Planned expirations before the board with no action required. We have Chief Forsyth to give his monthly ESD report. Evening, Chief.
Good evening, everyone. It's a nice rainy night out there, so it's time to go home. For the month of October, I would like to report that the Newtown Fire Rescue responded to 188 calls for service. We completed 72 fire safety inspections in Newtown Township, 6 use and occupancy inspections, and 1 fire alarm inspection. We completed 33 fire safety inspections in Newtown Borough and 1 use and occupancy. Chief Weaver and I attended several meetings. On October 2nd, we attended our first PA Career Fire Chiefs meeting. That was a Zoom meeting. It was very interesting. The state is trying to do a lot of stuff for combination fire departments, so I think it's kind of important that Nick and I are there so we can see what steps we have to take. On October 5th, we were invited to attend the memorial service for Ranger Campbell, who was killed at Tyler State Park incident on Memorial Day weekend. October 7th, we met with President Dallas to discuss the future of the fire service in Newtown. October 8th, we attended the Board of Supervisors meeting for the swearing in of the 2 new firefighters. And on October 22nd, I attended the board meeting to present the monthly report for September of 2025. October was Fire Prevention Month. We presented at 75 different classes and seen over 1,700 students. October was a busy month for us. I think our fire prevention program is excellent. The guys are always making improvements to it, and I think it's paying off for the service that we provide to the community. That is my monthly report. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
I understand we have a certain amount of folks that are graduating from Fire One coming up. Is that correct?
That's correct. December 16th, we have 4 new firefighters graduating from the Fire Academy. That graduation will take place at the Bucks County Community College at 7 p.m. Would love to see you there. I think it would send a nice message to the firefighters, both the current firefighters and the new firefighters that are graduating from the academy.
Anybody else for the chief?
Thank you,
you
Chief.
very much.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
Madam Chair, I have one other item for the board's consideration. Our longtime custodian for the township is retiring at the end of December. Our Public Works Director has solicited bids from 3 different maintenance companies to perform weekly cleaning duties. The low bidder is Schlupp's Maintenance, which is roughly $38,000 a year, if I recall correctly. The appropriate motion would be motion to approve building maintenance contractor with Schlupp's Maintenance for cleaning services for 2026.
Do I have such a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Any conversation, any discussion from the board? Any from the public? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3 with 2 absent.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's all we have.
Okay, that leads us to our second round of public comment for items on the agenda. If anybody has such comments, please come and state your name and where you live. Where is that? On this side. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to our budget discussion.
Could we, under other business, can I put a minor item before we get into that?
Sure.
I notice in the packet you have here 3 copies of a fire service agreement. This is not on the agenda. Why are they in here for signing?
No, those were the ones that needed to be amended from last meeting.
What do you mean?
The changes to the agreement that were made
With the Fire Association.
for the Newtown Fire Association. That's not with the borough.
Oh, okay.
We
Sorry.
made those changes. They just need to be signed.
And they referenced, at last night's NFA meeting, they referenced that, the changes that were made, and they approved them.
Thanks for the clarification, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, now on to our budget discussion. I think we need to give some direction to our township manager as to what we want to do. We have 1 meeting left this year, so I think it's appropriate for the 3 of us, I wish there was 5 of us, to give some direction. the direction that I have, that I prefer, is to pass this 4 mil tax increase without touching the general fund. That's where I'm at with this, and
And you wouldn't make any changes internally?
I would not.
Okay. I have a little bit of a compromise idea between some of what Phil was saying at the last meeting, some of what John was saying at the last meeting. It's just a suggestion, but we have, let me see how I can explain this. We have budgeted $850,000 for road improvements on our road program. And that's coming from from the general fund and from liquid fuels. So I say 850,000. I was going to suggest, and I know we're all concerned that it wasn't enough road construction, road repaving in the budget. So I was hoping to present, to take 150,000 from the general fund, and it would come out, and the ending fund balance would be a little bit less, 150,000 less. Add that to the 850,000 would be $1 million. Is, at least we could say we paved $1 million worth of roads. It still would be just over 2 miles of road. I know that's a concern, but we can only go, I think with this budget, we can only go so far, and that would be a compromise. I don't know if Phil's not here to say whether that would be enough taken out of the general fund for him.
This is not official, but I did talk to Kyle, and he said he was in favor of approving the budget as is. But of course, we can't vote on this tonight anyway, so.
I don't know what Kyle might have said to you, but that's inappropriate, I think, to say at this meeting what Kyle might have said. He has to say it himself. But I think with only 2 miles, with 150,000, you get 2 miles of roads. It's not $1 million of roads. It's how many miles. We need to have at least 3.5 miles every year just to maintain the poor condition that already exists in our roads that people are complaining about every day to me. So I would like to add more money. For example, instead of having 4 police cars, maybe the police department can get away with only 2 police cars. That would save another $170,000. You know, a mile of roads, according to PennDOT, which is an expert on everything, it requires $350,000 at least per mile. So adding 150,
More like 500,000.
150,000 doesn't even get you maybe half a mile, not even. So you're talking about 2.4. I'd like to get it up to higher than that, because last year we had 2.5. So my suggestion was 2 police cars instead of 4 cars. You get an extra 175,000. You get 325,000. That's another mile of road. That's my opinion on that.
I think that's something that we've been doing, taking away from the police or some other line item for a long time. And again, I think this year we should keep the budget as it is, as it has been proposed, because all of those things are needed, and the 2 police cars certainly are needed to make up the 4 police cars. So that's my opinion. Again, we can't vote on anything. We're just discussing it.
Well, let's discuss it, because I think every
ahead.
year the police department comes in asking for 4 cars. In the years past, they weren't given those 4 cars. They were given 2 cars. Now, the police chief refused to give me data on those cars, to justification for some of these increases. I don't know what the justification is. He played some kind of tape, and I couldn't even hear it. I mean, it's pathetic. what we need is justification for some of these line item spending.
Mr. Mack, can I ask for exact clarification on justification?
Sure. Scott, say that again?
What do you need justification?
I need
So
a
we can provide it.
justification in the for example, all the cars that the police department has are insured. The insurance data tells you how many cars, how old the cars are, what the
insurance data-
mileage is on each car. That kind of data would be nice to have.
The insurance company doesn't
Before we make a
provide.
decision on, are these cars really necessary? 2 versus 4. Hey, Micah, I know you're really pissed off. That's too bad. I'm asking a question.
We don't need people being pissed off, so let's take a breath.
Thank you. You've given your opinion. I think we all have, so the only thing left to do is wait for the other supervisors at our next meeting to give complete instructions to the township manager, because there is no consensus here.
So, I don't want to belabor this, but John, you were asking for mileage on the cars, on the fleet.
I'm asking for justification besides the chief says it's necessary, besides the director of public works says it's necessary for a dump truck. I don't know. How is it necessary? Besides hiring a full-time IT, what is this IT person going to do? We didn't go over all that stuff.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
When did we go over that?
Came in here and sat with us.
Yeah, not in public. You didn't go over it in public to justify it to the public who are paying 4 mils additional tax.
Is there any public here that has any questions about that at this time? I don't see any. And
Oh, you don't see any?
I haven't
Well,
heard any.
They're out there.
Can you keep your,
I'm sure
can
there
you
are.
keep your voice down?
No,
Can you
I-
keep control of yourself?
Sometimes these microphones don't work. Like at the planning commission, the microphones didn't work. Why is that? What are we paying for? Didn't we pay a lot of money to get this sound system working better? You go to a public meeting where there are public members, they can't hear what's going on. That's pathetic.
Okay.
Is there anything else that is pathetic in your eyes that you want to bring to everybody's
I'll
attention?
make a list and
Check it twice, it's that time of year.
Yeah, really.
If we're done talking about the budget, I did have something else I wanted to just bring up in the other business. And that is, I was concerned about where we left the fire agreement with the borough last time. And of course, what we did was have the solicitor send a draft agreement for $350,000. Letter, okay. To be more precise. I would still like to work with the borough. We have a month before they would be uncovered. And I don't think they'd really want to be uncovered from having a fire department. So I just really feel like we need to relook at that. There is some evidence from them that was shared via email to the board that maybe that they would definitely be amenable to 275. We asked for a specific letter rather than just an email. So, I mean, there's nothing for us to vote on or talk about specifically, but I'd rather have something than nothing. And I know it's not my jurisdiction, but I'd rather see them covered as well. Eventually, that wears down our NFA, and so I would just like to like to explore that more and see what we can come up with, and just certainly, good night, John. Wow. That's a little disrespectful as well.
That's the name of the game.
Okay. Anyways, so that's where it's been. I see that they came up 80,000 with $80,000 more dollars this year. Next year, we're asking for another 80,000 in addition. So
I think it'll be,
it's reasonable.
it will be more than 80,000 next year, but it will be whatever the fire
Right.
department says that the number should be.
Right.
May I just say, they had a meeting today.
Thank you. I didn't mention that.
It was a meeting between members of a Harrisburg Committee on Fire, and the borough, members of the borough were there. Our chief was there, and Nick was there. And they tried to explain what our methods were, which are mandated by the government to be the right method to figure out what the number is. They tried to explain that, and from what I understand, they were not open to those explanations, and I think they pretty much fought it tooth and nail. So, yes, I'm hoping that we can, they have sent a letter saying that they have already, raised their millage in order to get to the 275
An email?
for this year.
Yeah.
And that they're just waiting, they're going to send us, as soon as they have a meeting, they're going to send us an official letter. We haven't gotten an official letter. I think that's where all the confusion lie, but,
It was
if they do or
13
if they
13
don't.
days since our last meeting.
yeah,
so.
if they do or if they don't, it's going to be their future that,
Yeah.
they're letting slip through their fingers, is all I can say. But that is the update from today, and we have tried very hard to get them to understand and to, not be so angry with us. But again, I know Phil would yell at me for that, because I care about if they're angry, but yet I do. So Dennis and I will continue to work on what we think is right until we have a reason to not, which might come very soon.
Right,
I'm sorry?
Yeah, they can't make any decision.
right.
No, we're just.
There's no action being taken
Yeah,
right now.
we can't
We
do
can
anything. We're
formal
just
discussion that's
discussing
gonna-
a letter that we got.
Move toward the end of the meeting.
Yes. Yeah, our quorum left when Mr. Mack left.
Yes. True. So it was more of a discussion.
Yeah, I just wanted to
Between the two.
complete the thought.
Yeah, we were saying it and he left, so we completed it. But thank you. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Is there anything else for the good of the township? Hearing none. This meeting is adjourned.